What's going on, everyone? Welcome to VEVE Investments. On today's episode, we're discussing my 5 favorite and 5 most anticipated Marvel Mighties on VEVE. If you guys enjoy the content, make sure to like and subscribe. Comment down below what you want to see in a future episode. And without further ado, sit back, relax, and enjoy. All right, so I'm sure you guys can tell we got a new intro animation at the beginning of the video. So I've been working in the background and creating multiple different animations pertaining to content that is already on VEVE. So as you guys saw with today's intro, it's the Infinity Stone that drops tomorrow. I do want to take production quality to the next level, so this is something you guys can expect in the videos moving forward. They do take lots of time, so it is something that I'm still working on, but I wanted to make sure that I drop today's animation right before tomorrow's drop. As for today's video, the structure is as follows. We're first going to discuss my 5 favorite Marvel Mighties. We're then going to discuss my 5 most anticipated Marvel Mighties that have yet to drop on the app. And then we're going to round the video off with some honorable mentions that I don't discuss in either list. So starting off with my first favorite Marvel Mighty on the platform, we have SpiderMan. So yes, this is my favorite iteration of Spider-Man as a Marvel Mighty. We have Ghost Spider, we have Spider-Man number 99. However, the classic Spider-Man you guys see on screen is going to be my favorite. Now, instead of me just sitting here talking about, the aesthetics and how these pieces look and that type of stuff, I've made sure to include some fun facts about each of these characters. That way it's a little bit more entertaining for you. So the character was created by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. The character first appeared in 1962 in the original Amazing Fantasy number 15 comic. There's been a total of 9 movies made for Spider-Man. 3 more films have been announced and are still on the way. And as mentioned in numerous other videos of mine, Spider-Man is the most popular superhero in the world. Next up, another favorite of mine is going to be the Loki Marvel Mighty. So for those who don't know, this is going to be the brother of Thor, deviant brother, should I say. But Loki actually comes from Norse mythology. Norse mythology comes from Scandinavia. He's known to be a trickster, spends lots of time playing pranks and getting into mischief. He can actually turn into different animals, a salmon, a horse, a seal, a fly, and even an elderly woman, being some of the things, but he can change his gender and appearance pretty much on command. Now, I am actually considering watching this series. I watched a few episodes, but I never kind of, stuck with it. For anyone who did watch the Loki series, let me know what it's like in the comment section down below. Is the series worth it or not? Next up, let's talk Green Goblin. So Green Goblin is the first villain to know Spider-Man's identity. I think it's probably one of the better looking Marvel Mighties out of all the series. One thing I do wish they included with this piece was a little bit of smoke coming out of the jack-o'-lantern, but that's just me being picky. The character actually has twins with Gwen Stacy. Back in the day, actually, before he used the glider, which you guys see on the right-hand side there, the Green Goblin instead used a small rocket shaped like a broomstick, so he actually looked much like a witch. So I thought that was quite interesting. You can kind of see it in the hat as well. And last but not least, we have your standard Avengers, right? But then you also have the Dark Avengers, and when the Dark Avengers formed, Green Goblin was a member of the Dark Avengers and actually became the Iron Patriot. Next up, I asked a lot of people what their favorite Marvel Mighties were this past week on Twitter. Dr. Doom was many people's choice. So for those who aren't aware, his armor actually inspired Kang the Conqueror. He's one of the most powerful magic users in the Marvel Universe, and his powers are actually derived in some way from his mother, Cynthia Von Doom, who is actually a witch. Surprisingly, the second time we've mentioned that in this episode. He's responsible for stealing Silver Surfer's power. He has a history against Black Panther, and Dr. Doom is the one who killed Thanos. Love the way this piece looks, and of course, it's in my top 5 because I think it is one of the better looking Marvel Mighties out of all the sets. And my 5th choice for my favorite Marvel Mighties is going to be the Black Panther. So a couple things to note here. A couple episodes ago, I mentioned how VEVE really needs to, sort out their first edition and first appearance tags. I made a mistake. I did, okay? I said that VEVE gave this Marvel Mighty the first appearance tag when they should not have, and I was wrong. The reason why I was wrong is because I actually didn't realize that this was the sister of T'Challa, T'Challa being the original Black Panther. And this is because Wakanda's borders were breached. The princess of Wakanda, T'Challa's sister, assumed the mantle of the Black Panther. So I originally discussed 2 points. I talked about how they released the Steve Rogers Marvel Mighty with the first appearance tag, then the Series 1 Captain America set with the first appearance tag. I mentioned how they pretty much did the exact same thing with the Marvel Mighty Black Panther and the Black Panther Series 1 set. But again, I was wrong. Someone actually asked VEVE via Twitter about the 2 points I had in my video. So they asked, why does Black Panther have the first appearance tag? And they also asked, why does the Mickey Mouse signature have the first edition tag? VEVE's response for Black Panther was the fact that this is his sister. So to me, I understand that. I agree. This should have the first appearance tag if that's the case, because it's like Ben Reilly Spider-Man versus Peter Parker Spider-Man. Somebody also commented that in a video of mine. However, I still disagree with the lenticular card. Their reasoning for the signature having the first edition tag is because the signature was on its own. To me, that is not enough to justify the first edition tag, because when we're comparing it to the lenticular card is a piece that has the signature before the signature was dropped on the app. Therefore, in my opinion, they still should not give the first edition tag to the Mickey signature. It should be on the lenticular card. That's my opinion. I doubt at this point they're going to change it. But I did just want to clarify and say, hey, I was wrong. The first appearance tag should be on this piece. Now, speaking of T'Challa, her brother, Black Panther was the first black superhero character in the mainstream comics. His superpowers come from a heart-shaped herb. He debuted on an episode of Fantastic Four. Before he was originally released, he was actually going to be called the Coal Tiger, which I'm really glad they didn't go with that name, because that name sucks. And last fun fact for you, he was actually married to Storm. Storm being the first African-American female in Marvel Comics and a prominent member of the X-Men. So that's going to be my 5 favorite Marvel Mighties. So we're going to have Peter Parker's Spider-Man, we're going to have Loki, we're going to have the Green Goblin, we're going to have Doctor Doom, and then T'Challa's sister, the Black Panther. Now moving over to my most anticipated Marvel Mighties, the first one we're going to discuss here is the Hulk. Now, of course, these pieces haven't dropped on the app, so all the pictures you're going to see moving forward are going to be pieces I tried to match as close as possible. In this case, we got the Funko Pop. Now, this Funko Pop is green, but the Hulk was actually originally gray, not green. He debuted in 1962. A blood transfusion from the Hulk actually led to the creation of She-Hulk, who's a lawyer. The inspiration for this character actually came from Frankenstein's monster, and the Hulk is one of few Marvel superheroes to actually feature on the cover of Rolling Stone magazine. Now, up until this point, we know that a lot of the Marvel Mighties do actually carry the first appearance tag for some of these major characters. Let me know in the comment section down below, would you guys want Hulk to have the first appearance on the Marvel Mighty, or would you guys want VEVE to release a Series 1 set similar to that of Black Panther, Deadpool, Storm, etc.? Another large character in the MCU, we have Thanos. So Thanos was actually not always called Thanos. He was actually once known as Anakin, or even Annie, which is kind of funny because the only time I've actually ever heard the name Anakin was in Star Wars. Now, Thanos had a lot of children, his daughter being Gamora from Guardians of the Galaxy, the Green Lady. His brother is actually an Avenger, Eros, who is the youngest son of 2 Eternals. The Eternal series is now something that Marvel seems to be pushing. Now, I have no idea why this point is bolded, but for anyone familiar with the character Drax, Drax was actually originally created to kill Thanos. Now, it's said that Thanos has a bit of a sympathetic side to him. In order to psychologically control Gamora, again, his daughter, he chose to actually assign her a birthday, and each year celebrated a modern Earth-style Christmas. And this was his attempt to kind of, condition Gamora so that she wasn't just like a cold-blooded killer. Next, we're talking Miles Morales, so an already popular character on the app. This piece, when dropping, if they drop it as part of the Marvel Mighty series, it won't have the first appearance tag. Now, as we mentioned in a recent video, this is going to be the iteration of Spider-Man that current generations are growing up with. Now, Miles Morales' powers are actually greater than Peter Parker's. So he has the ability of Venom Blast, which can conduct electricity upon impact, but he can also turn invisible, right? Which is something that we see in the Secret Rare variant. Now, Miles' Spider Sense is actually greater than that of Peter's as well, because he can detect enemies' detailed movements, whereas Peter Parker cannot. The character was actually inspired by President Barack Obama and Donald Glover. I love Donald Glover, so talented. And this is another character that had a relationship with another individual in the MCU, Kate Bishop. Next up, let's talk Wolverine. He's the world's first and greatest Canadian superhero. So the character actually had 2 possible names before he was released. First one was the Badger, and then the second one, which is the one they went with, the Wolverine. And thank God they chose that one, because similar to the Black Panther, I don't know what they were thinking with that original name. The Badger? Like, really? Now, Wolverine is not just a member of the X-Men, but also a central member of Alpha Flight, which is Canada's premier superhero team. This is also a comic that we have on VEVE, Alpha Flight #1. And I made sure to include this point because it gave me a little laugh when I read it. He actually lost a fight to Spock from Star Trek. So in 1996, Marvel actually apparently decided to print a Star Trek and X-Men crossover. And within this story, Wolverine fights Spock and loses. And my last choice for my most anticipated Marvel Mighties, that's going to be Iron Man. So Tony Stark, the one wearing the suit, he was actually based off of millionaire industrialist Howard Hughes. The character originally debuted in 1963. Stark graduated from MIT with multiple degrees when he was 21 years old. He ends up being good friends with Captain America. And fun little fact about Jarvis, which is that robot voice he's always talking to, Jarvis was actually a person, so his name was Edwin Jarvis, and he actually appears in human form in the film Endgame. Edwin Jarvis is said to be the butler for Tony Stark when he was originally growing up, and when he passed, Tony ended up naming his butler technology after Jarvis. Now, in addition to Robert Downey Jr., there were other actors that were considered for the Iron Man role, some individuals including Tom Cruise, Nicolas Cage, and Rob Lau. In my personal opinion, you can't top Robert Downey Jr. for this role. He is the best person for Iron Man. And I know we got some big names there, Nicolas Cage, Tom Cruise. I just don't think they could pull it off like him. And there you have it, my 5 favorite and 5 most anticipated Marvel Mighties. So again, just to summarize the video real quick, my 5 favorite are going to be SpiderMan, Loki, Green Goblin, Doctor Doom, and Black Panther. And my 5 most anticipated Marvel Mighties that have yet to drop on the app, if they do at all, we have the Hulk, Thanos, Miles Morales, Wolverine, and Iron Man. As for some honorable mentions we didn't discuss, I would love to see Professor X as well. Professor X being the one responsible for the X-Men. I'd also love to see Hawkeye. Unfortunately, Jeremy Renner is in the hospital from what I understand. He got in a bad car accident. And I actually believe he just asked Marvel to take him out of the MCU because of his condition. So not sure what's going to be happening there, but I'd love to see his character on the platform. Now, we do already have the Eye of Agamotto on VEVE, but I'd also love to see Doctor Strange. Ever since I found that collectible statue with Iron Man and Ultron for episode 37, I'd love to see Ultron on the platform as well. I think he's a very, very cool looking character. And last but not least, we're going to round it off with Kang the Conqueror. Now, Kang, from my understanding, actually is about to make his debut in his first Marvel movie, and that's going to be in the new Ant-Man and the Wasp movie coming out in 2023 this year. He's made appearances in TV series and video games before, but of course, Kang is a major villain in the MCU, and making his appearance in a Marvel movie is long overdue. That is going to conclude today's episode, guys. I really, really hope you enjoyed. If there's any Marvel Mighties that you guys really, really like or really, really want to see on the app, make sure to comment it down below. I'd be very interested to see what you guys are thinking. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to like and subscribe. Comment down below what you want to see in a future episode. And as for episode 42, I'll catch you then.